In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to use the patch tool to fix seams in our textures. Okay, so for this lesson, go ahead and open up gravel_01 in that raw images folder. And let's go ahead and double click on our background layer and switch that over to a new layer called layer 0. And then we're going to resize this. So let's go to image, image size. Let's take our lowest number, which is going to be our height, and bring that to the nearest power of 2, which is going to be 2048. Let's make sure we constrain our proportions, and then we have this set to bicubic sharper. Okay, and let's do 2048. There we go. Now let's do bicubic sharper, and hit OK. Let's go ahead and drag out our guides that we want to use. So I know that I'm going to be at 11 3/8 on both of these. Alright, and now let's go ahead and get our left and right seams. So we've been doing this quite a bit, so you should know the steps to doing this. So we're going to grab our marquee tool out, and we're going to snap to our guide. We're going to right click and layer via cut. Let's move this to the left side, and that just ensures that this edge of our texture is going to match this edge of our texture. Now we can come in with our eraser tool and start to erase this edge here. So I'm going to grab my pen and just come in here and just start to erase that edge. And you may have to be a little more careful on this one because we have a little bit of variances between the color. So you might want to try to match that up the best that you can. But overall, it should be okay. Okay, so finishing this up, go all the way down to the bottom there, and we're looking really good. Now I could come in here and I could start to kind of erase these areas a little bit more, make that look a little more natural, and we're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and crop out our extra stuff. Oops. Let's hit cancel on that. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Now hit enter. Let's merge these layers down. And we're going to make a duplicate of this, so hit Control J. And we're going to apply our offset filter. And you'll see that we have that vertical seam there. So just like we did in the last lesson, let's go ahead and sample the middle of our original texture using the lasso tool. So let's make this pretty large, and let's make sure that we're not going all the way out to the edges. We want to leave those edges alone. And now we're going to right click, layer via copy. Let's bring that above our copied layer. Let's hide our original, bring up our copy, and let's erase those edges there. So with our eraser tool with that low opacity, come in here and let's just get rid of those edges. Now this is where we have to come in and erase and then really pay attention to what is going on, what is being blended here. And if it doesn't look like it's going to match, we might have to erase a little bit more. Okay, so come on in here, get rid of those seams the best that we can. And we're looking pretty good so far. It just looks like we've got more gravel kind of piled up here. Kind of getting into a little bit of differences in the color. So I'm just going to kind of come along in the center here, kind of uncover that rock. And just kind of get this blend a little bit more. Okay, so looking pretty good. So with that, let's go ahead and merge our layers. And now we're going to use the patch tool to take care of these little seams right here on the edges and then make this blend a little bit better. So click and hold on your healing tool and you'll see patch tool. And now the way the patch tool works is that we draw out an area that we want to patch. So right along this edge here, I'm just going to draw out a little bit of circle here, not going all the way out to the edge, and you'll see that we get this selection. Now inside of that selection, you'll see that my mouse is hovering over and I get this patch symbol here. And if I click and hold on that and drag around, you'll see that it's sampling from the image wherever my mouse is hovering over. So I want to find something that's similar to my surroundings, something that's going to match up pretty well. And once I release that, it's going to take some time to think and then blend that together. So now we've completely lost that seam and I cannot tell where it's at any longer. Let's come over to this side. Let's do the same thing. Let's move this across, and I'm just kind of looking at what I've got and trying to find something that's similar. And it does a really great job of blending those areas. So if I were to show you this without you knowing my trick, you would say that this was, just an image that I've taken of the ground. Okay, you wouldn't know that I've done any work on it in Photoshop. Now I do kind of want to break up this gravel right in here in the middle. So I'm going to come in here and just make some small circles and just kind of come in here and grab some larger rocks and start to blend those in a little bit just to break that up. So let's grab this. Now I don't want to grab anything too large, because then you'll start to see things that are duplicated and it's not going to look all that great. Okay, let's hit Control D. And there we go. So that's how we can use the patch tool to really break up that middle seam there and make this look really, really great. Alright, so let's hit Control F to hit our offset, and if you would like at this point, you could come in and you could resize that and check your texturing or your tiling of your texture just to make sure that it's going to look good. But I know that by hitting Control F, looking through that, that's going to turn out great. Alright, so in our next lesson, we're going to take a look at one more way of creating seamless textures, and we're going to talk about actually removing extra details like trash and things like that out of your texture. Alright, so I'll see you then.